Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP. Let me get Paul in here. Why is it not showing up, Paul? There we go.
There goes.
Oh, we got you, Paul. We got you.
Yay.
So, we are live tonight. It is Thursday, April 17th. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Paul.
How's it going?
And we have some stragglers, so I'm hoping that we have a couple folks that can join here once they get their setups going. So, anywho, we skipped last week. I was busy with work, and it didn't seem like anyone else was doing stuff. So, or was, everyone else was busy, whatever, too. But we figured we can't go 2 weeks in a row, and we have so many things dropping right now, right? Like, thankfully, the cargo ships, the container ships managed to make it to the U.S. just in time, right, to beat those tariffs.
I don't even want to talk about that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know. So the current rates. No, just saying.
Wave 1's been out for a while. I mean, Wave 1 probably hit the shores before the madness began. It's now just percolating.
Yeah.
Through the system. And I've seen even Canada has Wave 2 already.
Yeah.
Which
that's crazy.
Suspect.
But I feel like this has happened before, though, right? Like, where the waves kind of get, like, or right next to it. Or, like, it's like a trickle of a second wave kind of thing or like, certain locations, like Asia, just whatever. And then, like, the rest of us, like, we won't see it maybe for, 3 months, or maybe forever. I don't know. Maybe if they didn't pay the tariffs or whatever, then they're just going to sit on the boats or in the containers, right? Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? That's
so,
no idea. What is going on?
Yeah. I guess apparently now, like, I thought I saw something today that Hong Kong is like, just like, if you want something shipped from Hong Kong to the U.S., like, good luck.
Because they're just not even messing with it.
They're not messing with it. Now, I don't know. Again, this is what I saw on Facebook. So this very well could... don't go to us for the accurate news. It's just something I saw.
I'll give you a real story on that, if somewhat related. I had a big order invoice come in the distributors in Hong Kong. And I told them, listen, this is like literally the day the stuff started, the tariff stuff. I said, listen, dude, I can't buy this. I won't buy this. Like, because I just don't know what's going to happen. And neither do you. And like, this sucks. This is so dumb, but I can't in good faith.
So what was the response? Were they just like, screw you? Like, whatever? Or what did they...
No, actually, I mean, I felt like, I thought it might start a discussion. Like, we don't, there's not a lot of like, what's up, with the Asian distributors, I would love to, but there's language barrier,
right.
First and foremost. But, they just said, okay, we understand, and we're going to cancel any outstanding orders though. And I'm like, I don't think there are any. So, okay.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that is like low key, like you're cut off now.
You're cut off. Yeah.
Which is kind of what I expect. But honestly, the other day I was thinking, things are so weird. Maybe I should just reach out and tell them, hey, if you still have that stuff, I'll take it. Let's just see. because it will probably get here in a few days. But yeah, now the tariffs are like 245%. Like, could you imagine? Like, if a Masterpiece toy that's supposed to cost $100 is now $300 at wholesale, like.
Right. No, I know.
What? That means it's a $400 toy that used to be $100. Like, it's crazy.
I have no idea.
Wild. Anyways, that's it from the other side. You know, like because if they send that stuff, they're paying to ship it, and some of that payment stuff, some payment terms are on like net 30, right? So they don't have 30 days to pay you. Meaning, usually the distributor, in good faith, ships it out, and you're going to pay them like as you sell it, and make a profit and send it back to them. But if you just say nope, or if it gets denied at port, it goes on the ship back, and then that whoever the person that distributed it is out the shipping 100%. You're never going to pay. So it's really tricky for everybody.
Well, the thing that's so weird about all this stuff too, and you know, we probably shouldn't go into a deep dive about tariffs and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, it heavily affects us. And I guess like Hasbro, their stock has been down significant. I mean, everyone's stock's been down, but like I think they've been hit worse than others, right? Them and Mattel both, just because like, you know, everything's coming from Asia.
Well, this is my interpretation of that. Toys have never been taxed, like,
right,
in the existence of these companies. And so for the first time, like their margins are so thin already,
right?
And now you're going to tax them to death. Like, that's all they do.
Right.
So yeah, that sounds like a good play.
Well, and that's the thing. The other thing that's crazy is the fact that, like, before this, I think even if there was like custom fees and things like that or tariffs, it's usually like on a larger order, right? So, you know, they like a big wholesale, like, you know, whatever type of thing. Whereas I think now they're talking about doing like smaller orders as well, right? So if I go order something off of Temu or whatever, right, as an example, like, is it now do they pay all that? Like, that's the thing I don't understand about some of those logistics.
U.S. Customs requires you to pay it, or the final deliverer of the thing to you requires you to pay it to receive the package.
Right.
And then it trickles back up towards, you know, the state, I guess. Or the country.
But like the thing is that, again, like U.S. Customs, like there's other countries where they've had, you know, various like tariffs and duties and things like that, but we really haven't in the U.S. on most stuff. And so like, do they even have the logistics in place to be able to collect that? Like, I just feel like it's going to significantly slow down anything coming into the U.S. And maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
That all sounds feasible to me.
That's what I just kind of assumed with this stuff. But, you know, and then the other thing too is, you know, whatever, the U.S. dollar's falling too, right? So then like that adds on to it as well, that if everyone is manufacturing stuff over in,
listen, this is the biggest oof of our wallets of all time. Okay, so is that what we're doing tonight?
I don't know. We somehow got on it because we're sitting here waiting for Anna, we're waiting for Phil, and so you know I just start talking tariffs. I don't know. Is there any other news
here?
That's true.
That should be the name of the video. Talking tariffs.
There you go. How are you today, Anna?
Nintendo. Oh, you guys talked about tariffs. I just want to order my Switch, but I can't. Can't order my Switch.
Well, and the cost of those games are going up too, right? That was even before that.
That had nothing to do with tariffs. That has to do with Nintendo has a hold on us. Wonderful mind slaves.
Seems like an interesting thing. Like, I wonder if Microsoft and Sony are going to do the same thing. Like, are they going to raise prices on games as well?
I don't know. I feel like it's similar to what we always talk about on this show. It's just as of our toys go up and up and up, we're so
Right.
deep in this. We're so deep in this fandom that, most of us on the show are the ones who are going to say, oh, if our deluxes go from 25 to 37 or whatever, well, maybe I'll collect a little less, but I'm still in. Right? And I feel like Nintendo has that same hold on fans where it's like Sony and Microsoft might not be able to make that play with their big properties, but if you tell me that I need to play the newest Zelda and it's $90 now, I'm gonna do it because I still
The
need to
funny
play the
thing
new
is,
Zelda.
That's a video game.
the funny thing is though is like way back in the day, like in the 90s, games were significantly more expensive.
Oh
Like wasn't there
yeah,
like a Street Fighter game that was like $90 or something?
it's that when I bought or when Final Fantasy VI came out, and big game in my childhood, that thing was $70.
Right.
And that was no, it's not three, Paul.
The box said 3 on it.
The box
It will
said
always
3.
be Final Fantasy 3 to me. Big part of my life, that game.
It was freaking $70.
It was
That thing from
It was the most
Blockbuster,
expensive
you couldn't
game
buy the
I had
real
ever
game.
bought.
Ridiculous. And even like Super Mario RPG was at least, I think that also started at 70. That was a game I really wanted because it was like, ooh, RPG plus Mario. I'm still a child. This is great. But like, you convert those things to today's money and it's like $135, right? So
Right.
my students were panicking about the $90 Mario Kart, and it's like, we've been down this road before, and we still bought Nintendo products, so it'll be fine. And I do think that that's just kind of how into it a lot of us are.
Right.
Final Fantasy 3 though was worth every penny, and you knew it was going to be. So like, if you were the one kid in your high school that had that game, like you were loving it. Like it, and then the internet came out at the same time. So holy shit, like
Talk about it.
Help, like, oh man, that was an experience. And not every game, it packed a lot of punch compared to like every other game in existence at that point. Like you're gonna get some. It was worth the money, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people feel very similar about Mario Kart World. I mean, they feel like they're going to get a ton of time out of that game. They already love Mario Kart. It's a new experience. So, they're just so into it, right? We were so devoted to Final Fantasy at that time and to Squaresoft that we knew it would be okay. And I think we do that a lot with our toys too.
I kind of think they need to make Final Fantasy VI the MMORPG. Like that style, not like running around in a 3D world. It's just like a pixelated game. Oh, please do it.
That'd be cool. Phil, you connected now?
Yeah, I'm good to go. So what have I missed?
Good.
So just to catch you up or whatever, we've discussed tariffs. And then we've also discussed Nintendo Switch 2 and some of the upcoming games. So sorry you missed all that talk.
Yeah, no, I'm still enjoying my Switch 1. I was like late to getting a Switch to begin with, so I'm still having fun with that.
Yeah,
It's a good
my
enough
kid.
system.
I really don't care. My kid has saved up enough money to buy himself a Switch, at least at the current cost, if it doesn't go up. So we'll see how that goes. So, anyway.
Cross your fingers.
So we're here to actually talk about Transformers, not about Nintendo Switch, right? Is this?
And we're supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to be goofing the wallets tonight, right?
Yeah, oofing the wallets. So,
Can I start us?
Oh, absolutely. What I was gonna say though is like. Oh, sorry. Go, Anna.
I just want to make silly faces. I wanted to propose a question. Many of you in our little team here have been heavily oofed by ancient comic books in the past week because there's that Skybound Kickstarter doohickey for the ancient comic books of our Transformers history.
So the Skybound thing that's getting released, the Kickstarter, right? there's, I think, a total of like 55 different versions that I can do. Is that about right? So, and then
one of the most complex Kickstarters I've seen.
My other question is Nick or Rick compelled to actually back every single tier?
No. No.
That'd be pain.
Rude.
I'm like so thankful today that I saw the message from Nick that I did, because he got himself a Supreme Optimus with that pre-order today, and like, oh crap, that, like, you know, most of the people I know, maybe a third of them got it who were trying to, and like, oh, if Nick misses out on this, he's gonna just burn everything to the ground. So
he could have gone to the store. It was probably at the store.
Dude has to work.
He can't have someone cover for him?
Yeah. Whatever.
That costs money.
But
that did happen.
Then he can just pay the aftermarket. Like, it's not a problem.
And
he got it.
I'm
So that's
surprised
good.
the aftermarket is like a lot lower than I expected. A, the original price was lower than I expected, and B, the aftermarket, at least so far, is lower than I thought.
Price was lower than any of us expected, which is fine. I mean, get you to buy another G1 Optimus and color scheme. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I've like completely missed the boat on this. Like, why do I want this?
You don't.
Okay. I mean, unless I'm like collecting Optimuses, like why would you want to do that? I mean, it's not like any of us have that many of them.
That's why I need to get it. I want it for the sequential of Optimuses I have.
I mean, the Supreme brand is a brand in which no one needs any of their stuff. I think very few people really want their stuff. It's just a status. They make so few of them. They're so hard to get, and that's their whole marketing gimmick, and it works for them. So, you know, give them some kudos for doing that. But at the end of the day, it's all just a gimmick. And you know, again, not only just kudos to them for making it work, but making it work as long as they have. You know, people still, you know, what is this, a decade plus for them, are clamoring for their items, and, you know, sitting there, you know, at 10, 11 o'clock on a Thursday, just clicking away at the refresh on their mouses, and then immediately like jumping to eBay when they didn't get it and paying double. So I don't know. It's a red Optimus Prime that says Supreme. So if you think that's cool, then you think it's cool and you'll want to get it. And if you didn't get it, you'll pay someone to get it. But other than that, it's like, all right. Then they're done that in terms of, you know, G1 Primes.
It's more fun than a Pepsi logo, though.
Is it? I don't think
it
so.
is.
Yeah.
What about a 7-Eleven?
I've seen that
logo?
a bunch of times. It's time for someone else to put a
The
burn their
7-Eleven
stamp
one
in
was
them.
like so random that was cool.
Cool. I
would argue the Target one is more fun than the Supreme one, because the Target one has the Target dog repainted Ravage.
Yep.
Except that's a terrible toy, right? Like the mold.
It's horrible.
The little Ravage is so bad.
But the concept of it's like I kind of like
it's
that.
Fantastic. If they would have used Stilljaw, I would have been good enough, right? Still Dog would have been fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was trying to get you guys to talk about it would be buying those comics, because those things are really expensive. The Skybound set, like that thing's running you like $300 easy.
Well,
it's about what it would cost if you wanted to collect them.
Yeah, well, I know it's a big buy. It's a big purchase, especially since they're doing the Autobot set and the Decepticon set and the collected volume versus the separate volumes.
Yeah, like how many issues does it comprise? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Do you know, Anna?
I mean, the original series lasted what until like the 90s, so you're at least getting that many issues, and then like a whole bunch of the UK stuff, right?
Right.
I think the original series was 84, 87. Is that right? Oh,
So
do you know the
almost
exact
90.
numbers off the top of your head?
But long story short, you're like, let's say it's $300. You're paying $3 an issue, which is certainly more expensive than it was to originally buy them.
Right, but
You
inflation.
know, yeah, but compared to what a regular comic book issue, that's cheap. When you say like a regular comic issue these days is what's a new issue of Transformers from Skybound was that $3.99? Yeah.
I think it's $4.
So, and older comics take a lot longer to read because they put like a lot more just like narration and dialogue, and like they had to explain it all, everything that was going on. So you get more time out of reading like a comic from the 80s and 90s than you do from today's comics.
And you're getting well over 200 comics with us. Well over, I think more like well over 300 with the UK stuff. So you get a lot with this. It's just a big purchase. And they're
How
big
big
old
are
books,
these volumes?
right? They're books.
Because I feel like IDW, like, and those collected what, like 10 issues each hardcover, and those were like, I feel like those were pretty big. So like this seems like this is going to be pretty thick. Yeah. So, but
that's been my biggest hesitation with buying it. Is just like these would be massive bookshelf books. Like, I'm a college professor. I have tons of textbooks, and these will make my textbooks look small.
Right. I don't know, though. I mean, I think that I definitely want to get the physical version, right? Because, like, once this is done, it's going to be done. And once it goes out of print, like, I'm sure that, like, 5 years down the road or whatever, you'll probably be able to get, assuming you keep it in good condition, that you'll be able to get more than what you paid for it. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, I know that that's the way those, like, IDW hardcovers are, where they went out of print and now they're, like, more expensive. So, yeah, are you getting the mana, or are you hesitating?
I've hesitated so far. If I'm just not sure yet if I want to get them. I've been trying to not have as much physical stuff. I've been getting rid of most of my books and old games and trying to cut down my Transformers. So getting these massive ultra heavy books, even though I would like to actually sit down and try to get myself to read the UK stuff, cover to cover for the first time, actually going through all of it. That would be really interesting to do. I just don't know about the size. Like, the PDFs are somewhat attractive, but the PDFs end up being really expensive too. So I don't know.
Right. No, that's what, I think aren't the PDFs like $150 or something like that?
The digital edition of both of them together is $120.
Or $120, okay. But now, if you get the hardcovers, do they come with the PDFs as well? So there you go.
Yeah. So if you spring for the $300 hardcover set, you get everything in the digital.
Get the hardcover, put that on the back of your shelf so it looks nice, and then just read the PDFs, and it'll be perfect.
Yep, that's what I think would be the right fit for me. But that's a big move, right? I don't usually drop $300 on a new collectible every day, so that's a hard one.
Right. Do we know how long this is lasting? Like, when? What's the end date?
It was 32 days or whatever, so it's still got 19 days left.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see it now. So, man, they've raised a fair amount of money already.
Oh, yeah. They've done very well. They've done very well.
Well, yeah, that's this didn't need to be a Kickstarter.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, they did it as a promotional thing, because lots of people that I know outside of, civilians, you could say, have brought that up to me. Like, look at this Kickstarter. I'm like, Oh my God.
Right.
Like, I'm just the Transformers guy now, to everyone I know. That sucks.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. So it had a wide radius of like knowledge. So now at this point, now everyone knows how much money you're going to make, which I'm sure gets annoying once you're way past like, being in the red. Like, okay, can we turn that off? No one needs to know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a big number or whatever. It's something that they can tout and whatever. But it's absolutely, I would say, is going to make more money this way than like if they just threw it up on Amazon or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, they raised
like if they just sourced it like how you would a normal like comic book like compendium, right? So, and maybe part of this too, that maybe since Diamond is God knows what, that they're just like, hey, let's just do it this way.
Yep.
So,
I don't know.
But
I'm getting the retailer.
You guys are trying to I'm almost ready to back this. This was like on my radar, but like just being aware of it, not really interested in getting it. And now I'm just like, oh, maybe I do want to get this and read all these. And like the bang for your buck, and you get them digitally, and then you sell the hardcovers 3 years down the road. But it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if book club jumped on it, like right now, like if they were just like, hey, let's read them all when we get the PDFs, let's do it as book club, I would be like, okay, sure. Like if I had a good use for them and a way to make myself read them, I think my biggest worry is that I would buy them and then I'd still never read the UK stuff.
I mean, I bought so many of these comics as a kid off like 7-Eleven spinner racks and just flipped through them and never actually read them.
Right.
And then probably 7-8 years ago, I sold them. So like there is like a nostalgia factor, but then again, like there's so many comics I have right now that I haven't read as it is that I've already paid for to add like 200 to 300 more comics on top of that of, let's face it, varying quality. That's an interesting proposition. So I'll probably rein myself in and not buy it.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like, especially with the UK stuff, like I think it's somewhat difficult for us to actually collect all of those issues, and I think it's nice to be able to get it in order and just have it and all that. So that's what really kind of attracts me to it. They've done some different things in the past. But I think that, and I'm sure they'll probably do something again down the road. I don't know. It seems like this is a nice set.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up as an oof because
no, I do appreciate it.
It's going to hit most of us, right? Like we're going to mostly fall for it eventually, as everybody keeps talking about it. We keep thinking, let's get it, and hopefully we all read it. Everybody doing book club, and we'll all read it together. It'll be great.
There you go.
Yeah. I've got like so many issues of the current Transformer comic book I'm still behind on.
I do.
How do you like the current because I pretty much never read. Like I think I read the first few issues when it first came out. But like
Paul's the most up to date on it.
Yep.
So like would you say that
and your enjoyment level is?
Yeah, right. Is it worth it?
I like it. I'm like excited. I saw the 3-page preview of the next issue this morning, and I was like, oh yeah, here's where the good stuff's starting to happen. So, I mean, it's nothing. It's not a much untreaded ground, Like a lot of these events have happened in Transformers history. It's not like that novel. Just like it's sort of like it's got new clothes on for the first time, Like we've seen combiners fight before, but with the real like collateral damage of that. Let's see. They're showing us that this time, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have some friends that really don't like it, and I appreciate that. Like, you know, like, and I don't push it down their throat or anything, because I don't think it's like Shakespeare by any means. But I do love Jorge Corona. I think he does a great job drawing it. So, I don't want to spoil anything, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
But it seems like it's
a good high
somewhat
level.
distinct, right, from like the original Marvel run, the Dreamwave, the IDW, like, so I could see that, like, honestly, hearing that there's people that don't necessarily like it somewhat actually attracts me, because I'm sure that they're like, I had a hard time getting into it at first just because I had been used to IDW, you know, and that's really where I loved it.
It's not
so
that.
It's completely different.
Not that anymore. No.
So
it has its own visual language, let's say, where I'm trying to think of another series where like they redo it all the time. And sometimes the Ninja Turtles, sometimes like they're drawn like each turtle is very different, and sometimes they're all exactly the same.
Right.
Like, this has its own way to depict like character A, character B. So like Skybound, this guy now has an identity because something has happened to them that has never happened to them before, and it's a very distinct visual for that character. Like Megatron has some handicaps right now, let's say, you know, like that he hasn't ever had before. It's just kind of cool.
It's funny, Paul, to kind of think about it in comparison to other Transformers comic universes, in that the one I would probably compare this the most to is Dreamwave.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I say that is because
better.
Neither Skybound nor the Dreamwave books were built around trying to sell Transform product. And some of the IDW stuff, like, you know, you're reading the IDW books, like, you know, here's Tankor. Why? Because there's a new Tankor toy on the shelf.
Right.
And that wasn't always the case for IDW, but especially like it, you know, you felt it. You definitely felt it. And with some of the iterations, it's like, oh, we got to add Sandstorm to this story because there's a new Sandstorm toy on the shelf.
Well,
it
gave you a reason to want the toy. You know?
Did, and it was a good synergy kind of thing. And obviously, the Marvel comic did that quite a bit. You know,
I just can't tell if you're saying it's bad or good, or you get.
I guess it's different. It's different because the Dreamwave books and the Skybound books aren't. Neither of those books were about that. The Dreamwave and Skybound books were more going back to the G1 core and telling a G1 centric story, because that is the iteration of Transformers that a lot of the fandom has the most connection with. You know, the movie universe obviously has a ton of their fan base, and that's very large as well. But in terms of just like the kind of nucleus of what Transformers are, Dreamwave and Skybound both went into that property of saying, we're going to tell stories about that nucleus with our flair on it.
And it wasn't beholden to like a previous episode or something.
Right.
Like none of that stuff had ever happened. It was just,
yeah, we're gonna do this our way. We're gonna, you know, use these characters in the way that we think is kind of neat and cool. You know, we're not gonna follow. You know, so I got it a little bit. This ties into one of my oofs a little bit, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But you know, I was talking to one of the artists from the Transformer Skybound books this weekend, and I was just like kind of joking with him about it. Like, I've got friends that are into the, you know, Transformer stuff, and you know, they're not as they see more flaws with the Skybound books. It was just like, oh, Daniel Warren Johnson doesn't know who, Desaurus is, and like he just knows the 84 cast,
Good.
and like, how can he call himself a fan when he doesn't know like the level of encyclopedic knowledge that I do? And it's like, well, that's not what the book is trying to do. The book is trying to go after the larger fan base, of which, Skybound's going to bring them to the table because Skybound is so big and Kirkman's so big, and they're trying to tell like a more tighter knit story around that kind of thing.
He's like a normal 80s kid that played with Transformers for a while.
Yeah.
And then didn't. Whereas the rest of us, there was no pause.
Then the cartoon ended and he moved on to the next thing.
Yeah. Like, he can still be a fan. Clearly he is.
Like, I'm
like,
sorry.
There's more people like that than us.
Right.
Like,
right. And those are like a good chunk of the people that are buying this book.
Yeah.
It's nope, I'm sorry. It's super fan or nothing. So.
Well, we had good super fan stuff for a while.
Right.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Roberts and the IDW books gave us some really deep cuts, and those were fun. Those were cool. But, this is just a different way of doing it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now when you see Ramjet, he just gets shot right away. I mean, that's what... Oops.
All right, so should we get into our actual oofs?
Yeah.
Anna's doesn't count.
What?
That's what it sounds like you're saying. The actual oofs? Like,
oh, no, but that wasn't really an oof. That was like an oof story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Chronology.
Right.
An oof preview?
Well, I thought the point was you bought it, or are you still on the fence? That's what...
I'm fencing.
Okay.
That one, I don't know. Like, books are heavy. Toys weigh less, so I buy more of them.
You talk to me about that.
There you go. All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go. On my first, one. First one is not in hand. My first one is more of a story. It's an oof that has been brought up before multiple times in like best of oofs, and that's our buddy Titan Triptychon. So I was one of the few that not the few. I should say one of the many who got the Titan Triptychon when it first came out. Really liked it, and then saw Takara was doing a Titan Triptychon. Like, oh, that purple's a little bit different. Let's go with that. This is Takara Triptychon because that's going to be a little bit different and that's going to be cooler. And I got it, and nope, same. Black screwed. Got black screwed by Titan Triptychon. Only difference was the ad. Takara had the black screws versus the US had the silver screws. And so, of course, now here comes Hasbro and says, we're going to do a new Titan Triptychon. Same mold, but new colors, more like the animation, that black and the almost pink instead of purple. Like, oh, that looks neat. Do I really want it? I like the gray one. All right, you know what? I'm going to have a table at DairyCon. I'm going to sell my Titan Triptychon at DairyCon, and I'll buy the new one. And that'll cover a lot of the cost. So I put in a pre-order with a website to get the Titan Triptychon, and that pre-order got canceled. There were some things going on there, so that pre-order got canceled. Like fudge. Then like 2 weeks ago, someone posts that there's this website. It's kind of this like weird random website, but they had Titan Triptychon for like 20% off, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I put like one other thing in the order there. Prima was in that order as well. And I get the shipping notice on Prima. Still no shipping notice on Trip. My friends that ordered it also have gotten their shipping notice on Trip. And I'm just like fingers crossed that I will get this Trip. Because then DairyCon was this past weekend and I sold my Titans Return Triptychon. And so he is gone. So I have, like at this point, that's like 75% of the cost of the new Triptychon, got in my hand in cash from selling the Titans Return loose version I had. And now I'm just fingers crossed that I actually get this order to come through, and it doesn't. I'm just waiting like to open up my email like it's some morning, and it's like, oh yeah, we ran out of stock, we couldn't fulfill your order. So yeah, that's my ghost oof. I don't know, because I don't actually
it
have
may
a
not
demand.
be an oof or it may be a bigger oof, I suppose, if you have to go and scramble and find it somewhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is like partial, story, partial, potential oof. We'll see.
How
We'll see if
long
I end up
ago was it ordered?
2 weeks ago, I want to say.
That's a while.
And the people who ordered it like got theirs a week ago. Like it shipped like 2 days after they put in the order, because it wasn't a pre-order. They had him in stock at the time, and now he's no longer in stock. So
have you
we'll
emailed
see.
the company?
I have not, because if I email the company, then they just might say like, SOL.
Not true. They might be like, uh-oh, this guy really wants it.
You know what? I got tomorrow. I got tomorrow off.
I feel
tomorrow
like
is better than usual. Friday, it's a good Friday, so I might use that day off tomorrow.
Yeah, just be polite. Don't threaten them.
Yeah,
right.
That's a real easy. Be like, oh, don't got any.
Yeah. Let me talk to your digital manager.
They're probably They're probably trying to figure out what to do with orders where someone. Actually, maybe it's you buying the other thing with it that caused the problem, because then they got to ship that big, like those things come in a giant box on their own, and now you got to add this other piece of shit with it. Like they got this 2 shipments,
Yeah.
So.
I'm now Triptychon-less. I only have my Encore G1. I don't have a Titan Triptychon, so I'm hoping it gets fulfilled. So I'm hoping I don't have to.
I hope so.
So Phil, just let you know, you are being judged for buying it again.
You know what, man? That's fine. Judge me. I think my plan worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
If
I
this
agree.
comes to fruition, I'm happy. I'm happy with the net cost I will pay for this, especially if I get it for the price. Even if I have to pay full retail, I'll still be happy. If I have to pay over retail, now it's just taking that dagger, pouring in the salt.
Yeah. Well, because full retail now is more than full retail when it originally came out, I'm assuming, right?
All right, one of my friends is in the chat there, so I just realized that. Full retail now is more than full retail when it came out, but the lower price I got was close to what the original retail was. The sale price I got,
yeah.
So
no, I had pre-ordered that myself at full retail price. But then I ended up canceling it because I'm like, I already have a Triptychon. I like that Triptychon. It reminds me of the toy. And as much as neat as this is, I have a stack of Titans that I still have not opened. And so, I kind of stopped buying Titans because I'm just like, what do I do with this?
So DairyCon again was this past weekend. It was a good time. Paul and I were there. Sergio, another cast member. Friends of the show. Sam from Toy du Jour in Chicago. PK, another Paul, with Robot Head Toys was there. Artfire was there selling his crazy high end import toys, and we hung out with him Friday night, and he was telling us all kinds of cool fun stories. And it was a great time. This was a really fun DairyCon, and just But what was interesting was, I saw someone had the Cybertron Metroplex Titan on a table, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it in person. Damn, that's big. Still don't necessarily want it, but it's wow, that's a tall ass Titan. And the other thing Titan related is I think in the first hour I had 3 or 4 people come by my table asking if I had a Nemesis for sale. I'm like, no, dude. And
a lot of that.
I started to kind of laugh, man, I don't have one. B, I haven't even seen one on the show floor, and C, it would cost you your right arm to buy one at this point with the demand on that thing.
I've never seen it still. Well, that's not true. I saw one for like 5 minutes and then it's gone.
I think the only time I've seen one is at TFCon Orlando. Someone was selling display stands for it. And like I went up to them, you know, I was helping Peter out at his booth, and I went up there right across the aisle. And I'm like, dude, is that Nemesis for sale? And they're like, no, she's just for display. We're selling the stands. Like, yeah, no, I don't care about the stand. I wanted the toy. And it was loose. I'm like, thinking maybe I get a deal. I'm like, nope. So Hasbro, please reissue Nemesis.
Anna, you got Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah, I have Nemesis. It's fine. It's not that great of a toy. It's, you know, it's fine. It's a really cool ship.
Yeah, the jet looks awesome.
The robot is, but not in a bad way. But the movement on it and some of the parts are just that like soft plastic that isn't too fun and pops off easy. And
Yeah.
Not the most fun Titan out of them. One of the least fun Titans. Really big ship though.
Yeah, I like her really alien robot look to her. Yeah.
I can see that.
A little better and didn't have those soft plastic parts.
Yeah, the Ark was the same way.
Yeah.
The Ark was a much more believable robot than this.
More like traditional robot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think this. Like, I have no problem with the robot mode, but it like doesn't match the Nemesis. Like, the Nemesis should be a little more scary to me than like a Nightbird style robot. But I mean, whatever. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, I didn't get this toy. Shame.
But you got other toys, so you can talk about them now.
I suppose.
Yeah, what do you got, Paul?
So before we started, I wasn't sure. Like, were we gonna do the biggest oofs of all time of our lives, or biggest oofs of the last of like 2025?
I mean, I'm assuming it is going to be 2025. I was going to do my biggest oof. I mean, if you have your greatest oof ever and you have it handy, you might as well show it off.
I'm just more so showing off like recent stuff I've got that I find interesting and have a story around it.
Okay.
That's all I've got too.
Well, I got this recently. I got a original Japanese.
It's a Starscream. What?
22.
Who cares, right?
Yeah, who cares? It's just the Japanese one.
Is that like the Walmart reissue that is there a Walmart reissue that just came out or anything, or?
Yeah, the Japanese Walmart. You have to go to the Japanese one.
Okay, the Japanese Walmart. Got it.
Sorry,
Paul.
Got it.
Someone was selling this online, and I talked to him, and it looked really nice. And I thought the price was pretty good, so I bought it. Turns out the one I got is already better. Like, that's the way it goes.
What?
Rats!
Paul, tell me, for those of us who don't know, I mean, I of course know. So, like, this is just for the audience who's like ignorant to this. What's so special about this Starscream?
It's just, I mean, it's old. It's like 40 some years old, but it's like it's the Japanese version of what was on the shelf in the 80s.
Okay.
There's a whole. They're just like we're talking about how the comics are different in the UK. In Japan, the toy release was like a completely different beast than in the United States. Lots of similarities, but lots of cool variants too. But I could go get a G1 one to compare if that would help. But that seems like a bit much.
I mean, that's the thing I think is interesting about the original G1 is there's just so many variants. Like, if you get a toy now, I mean, I'm sure there's slight variations potentially with different runs, but, it's not necessarily that noticeable, right? Whereas, like how many variants of G1 Starscream are there, Paul?
One. A lot. A whole bunch.
I just expect Paul to put on like the green visor and get the old school like accounting calculators. Like, you hear him like punching on it and the roll is going like, my calculation's like 793.
Yeah, like, dude, I would love to know the answer to that question right now, like at my fingertips. But the problem is that it's not a hard and fast answer. It depends who you are and what you care about and your specific preferences, and we can't all agree upon. So who knows?
I mean, what's your list on Schmacks or whatever, right?
I don't use that. Are you kidding?
All right.
No, I mean, I respect it, but I don't use it as a source of truth at all.
Right. Well, very cool. That's nice. Although I guess you already have the same one, I guess. So are you gonna get one of them AFA graded then, or?
No comment.
All right.
Well, it's Japanese. They weren't taped. First off, Lucas.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's the problem.
Sorry, I was not. This extensive Japanese collection I have, like where I would actually know that, like I did not know they didn't tape stuff in Japan. I'm sorry, I'm a noob.
Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. But there's a lot of stuff that wasn't.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that with Japan, they didn't have the bubble cards, right? So like, you didn't have to worry. The whole like, oh my God, has it been opened or not? Has it ever been used? It's kind of like, well, you'll never know, so it doesn't matter, which is just kind of like refreshing for Japan. It's got if it has the stickers on it, then clearly it's been touched, right? But that's why in Japan, the stickers applied or not applied is so important.
I think that's cool. It's neat just to see, like, it's neat just to have that reaction of, oh, another Starscream. When I think back to like how excited I was as a kid to finally hold the G1 this G1 Seeger mold when I got G2 Ramjet, right? Like I never got to hold any version of that jet before. And it was such like a monumental thing. And now it's just like, oh, it's another G1 Starscream. Whatever. I possess 46 million of those, and Paul has 8 billion of them. So, it's fine. It's just interesting to see how it's like changed over the years mentally.
I have a really close big time collector friend that just today was like, hey, look what I bought. And it was his first ever G1 Starscream. Like that's not a reissue or something, and he's like, I was like, whoa, would have thought you had like 5 of these. But no.
That was one of the kind of the cool things that Art Fire was telling us this weekend, that like his collection is very fluid. And he's just like, the first time I had a G1 write-in that I sold, like it was like I didn't want to sell it, but it was such a great offer. I decided like to I couldn't pass it up. He's like, and then once you've sold your 20th write-in, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is old hat now. So,
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next and be the most boring.
Sure. Oh no. You still have me to go, so I could be more boring than you.
Well, I wouldn't go before you because I just want to reveal one like toy that I'm sure like is on your radar, and then I'll go into Weird Anna stuff afterwards if we go additional rounds. But I just got to get one thing in here. Just because we talked about the Nemesis, and I have a lot of the same feelings about the Nemesis as I do this other purple retail Lady Transformer figure. So the one Prime I plan to get from this whole set of Primes is going to be Solus, right? Like, she's on my radar, so she's the one I pre-ordered, the only Prime I pre-ordered, and probably the only Prime I will pre-order. And man, is she an effort. To have an existence, right? Like, I'm really glad we got a Solus Prime toy. Solus Prime has been, around as a legend in the comics and series and whatever for a while now, and it's cool to have like the origin of the lady Transformers and stuff like that. But gosh, the toy is a little frustrating. I don't know if anybody else on our little team here has her yet.
Why?
But because okay, so she's pretty cool, right? Like my only like vague complaint with her as a figure is just like, you know, the skirt being like that far out looks a little strange. But other than that, like there's really nothing wrong with her. Like the shoulder pads fit on the shoulders in a nice way. See, Lucas has her. There we go. And she goes together well. She's just really annoying to transform. Like I heard that there were QC issues with her, and like then, you know, the ankle flew off and the shoulder pad went this way, and it was just an annoying process of turning her into nothing, because her alt mode is like the front end of a car type thing and then nothing behind it. So it was just annoying. Like I don't think she's a particularly bad design for transforming. I just think she's got some like major parts that want to pop off that all have to have a decent amount of pressure put on them to transform her. So she's a pain.
So I actually didn't have. I don't know. Like I didn't have as bad of a reaction as you did with like transforming. I did have a part pop off when I transformed her back off of the like shoulder pad. What part is this?
That's her foot. That's her
Oh, her foot?
Her foot like,
yeah, see, I haven't had any issues with the feet. But I know you also had an issue with the Fans Project Dinobot girl foot. And I never had issues.
Like on, it's fine.
So,
it's just annoying.
So, I thought it was somewhat interesting to me, because I don't know, like all of these Transformers we've gotten for the last several years, I feel like they're usually relatively similar, and there is nothing different about transforming it, right? And so, like, I actually felt like this one and, you know, some of the other primes, because they're different and new figures or whatever, that it was like a completely different transformation than what I was used to. And it was definitely more involved. And the shoulder pads, like getting that all done was a little bit annoying, and kind of getting it like, you know, kind of like finished and whatever was a little bit, but like, I don't know, number one, this has to be one of the better looking female figures that we've had that actually is a real Transformer, not just like a shell former or just like whatever. So from that standpoint, that's, I mean, I realize, I guess, Anna, you are right that the back is kind of just, you know, you just fold up the legs and it's nothing and whatever, but
the implement's rough, but she does transform.
Yeah,
really does transform, like an actual transformer.
Right. So I don't know. Like I actually kind of appreciated her a little bit, and it almost reminded me a little bit of Third Party Light.
Yeah.
I guess to say
are very third party feeling.
Yeah, like it almost felt like an MMC figure. I mean, not like the plastic's different and all that kind of thing, but it almost harkened back to the Azalea and all that, like figures that they had from years ago. It's not the same, but it just kind of reminded me a little bit of that. The biggest complaint I have that I don't understand is what is up with this hammer. This is so stupid. Why did they make it like this?
Oh, the way you have to take it apart to put it in her hand?
Yes. That's so stupid.
Yeah. So you do actually have to take the hammer head actually has to come off. And then you have to pull the handle all the way down.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that a lot with like NECA figures and stuff. Like NECA Predators.
We don't really do that with Transformers, though, right? We don't really.
Yeah.
But like, what was the point? What was the point of this thing at the bottom? Like, what does this even do?
Like, it makes it look better by a little bit.
I mean, I guess.
Well, at the end, it looks kind of cooler.
But like, why didn't they just like make a different like way of attaching so that you didn't have to take the top of the hammer off to put in her hand. You know, like it just seems stupid.
But then when you put the top of the hammer on, once it's in your hand, you can go hammer time.
Sure. Okay.
I don't like it because if I'm going to play with it a lot, I know that eventually pushing it all the way through is going to wear down the inside of the hand. It's eventually not going to hold it as well as it does because the friction's not going to be as strong.
Right.
So that's the thing that bugs me about it. But I agree. Like having to take it apart like that is awkward.
Well, and then the other thing is like
it doesn't really add a lot to it.
I don't really feel like I feel like that they could have made it go on the vehicle mode a lot better than what they did. Like it's almost an afterthought. So I'm like, if you're like engineering this hammer and it has all this, like it has a bunch of paint on it, it seems like it has a decent parts count and all that. Like, why did you make it? So then it's just almost like like it seems like it should have been like in the middle, like or some type of feature or whatever. And so. Are we done with your assessment or whatever? Are we done with this? I can go on to my oof.
I mean, the hammer could come apart and become different parts of the car. That might actually be nice since it already comes apart, you know, instead of just sticking on the side. And the only other thing I was going to say is I appreciate the toy as a robot mode Solus Prime figure. Right, like it's a really cool design. It looks neat as a robot mode Solus Prime figure, and I like the little weird details that you don't notice until you've messed with it for a minute. Like if you look at the back of her, she actually has hair behind her helmet, right? Like it's sculpted to be like a lot of the other primes have beards and stuff, and she actually has just short hair on the back of her head, and it's like okay. Sure, like that's a fun, weird detail that you never knew was unique about Solus Prime until you see the back of her head on a figure. So that's cool. I do like the sculpt. I do like the figure. I just wish that it didn't have that kind of, loosey-goosey QC. I don't even know if I want to call it QC. It's just kind of the way it's built, where the pop-off parts have to be.
Yeah. No, I know some people were complaining about that too. The other thing I'll say that I appreciate about this figure is, we had a whole line with like Siege or whatever, where we had these supposed Cybertronian modes, which were like kind of Earth modes, kind of like whatever. And I don't really feel like that they pulled it off. Whereas like, I feel like the vehicle mode for this, like, fits in with the IDW like look of like what they drew in the IDW comics somewhat. Paul, like I feel like you're giving looks and stuff here.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of. First off, Anna, I must ask you: is this a real canon phrase? Loosey goosey QC? Like, did you catch that you even said that? Because that is amazing.
Well, now I've created something else by accident. A creature.
Bravo. And Lucas, you and the fandom are just never gonna forgive Hasbro for what the Siege line was promised to be in like a flippant statement on a video that got probably watched 100,000 times.
Why did they make the line then? What was the point of it?
To sell toys. They made the cartoon, dude. I don't know.
True. Yeah, I guess what you're saying is they're a profit-seeking corporation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
We'll definitely be seeking profit in the near future.
Right. So
achieving.
Yeah. Okay. So getting on to my oof, to compare her to the other Prime, which is Megatronus, right? Which is like, again, she's neat. Like, this is a really cool toy. Like, this might be one of my favorite Transformers that I've opened in, I don't know how long. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
So you're saying he's a baddie?
He's a baddie, but he is a chunk. But like, all the weapons that he has, like, work. Well, first off, his hand like actually opens up, and so it it just slides right in for the stuff. But then like just the interaction with the toys, the sword and the axe or whatever that he has is really neat. And then just the like this gun that he has where it kind of like you can like make it bigger for tank mode. I love that this figure is, kind of evokes the Megatron. Like, so, like, if you transform it, like, I didn't even realize, like, because this is one of the few figures I feel like, I used to watch reviews all the time before I would, even get the figure, right? So, like, I've already seen everything. Well, for whatever reason, I just surprised myself on this one. I never watched anything about this ahead of time. And so I'm seeing her transforming it. I'm like, well, hey, this is very evocative of the Megatron H tank from Siege and all that. And obviously we know that Megatron, this is his, kind of hero, whatever kind of deal that he looked up to. But it's just neat. Like it evokes the, Megatron, but this is like a badder version than that Megatron because he's so huge. I don't know where the heck my Megatron's at. It's up there on the shelf, but like, I mean, this thing is just an absolute, huge chunk of a figure. I'm trying to think if I actually have a. Oh, here we go. I have a Megatron down here. So, if you compare the Siege Megatron to him, like, it's just significantly bigger. He's like a head bigger than he is. So yeah, this is just a really neat and like the parts count on this figure is just nuts. Like, have you messed with this at all, Paul? Yeah, like I don't know. It's crazy. Like, when you go through and transform this figure, just the amount of money I feel like that they put into it with paint, like, the arms that they actually, we complain about the combiners, the Devastator combiner guys and they're at a different price point. This is a leader class. Those are, Voyager and deluxe class or whatever. But, he has the arm plate so that when his hand goes in, everything like is, like shows off. But then just in general of just how much of a chunk he is. And just like, if you just, I don't know, like you can just see like, just how solid this guy is overall. I don't know. I don't feel like I've felt a leader class figure that has felt like this for a really long time. I mean, I guess the Dinobots maybe, but like even then, like the parts count for these Dinobots is not the same as this. So yeah, I would definitely highly recommend, this guy, and like also the flame effects, which I normally never like, putting this crap on the figures, actually looks kind of neat on him. So gives him a neat look.
Speaking of Dreamwave, that's where the Fallen came from, baby.
Yeah.
Came from Dreamwave. It was like Pat Lee's, what do they call her? Mary Sue. It's like evil Mary Sue that they made up. The best part about that whole comic is at the end when he like goes, no! And like that's how they like Primus just like takes him away like a ghost. That's so dumb. And then they made a movie with him.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got a toy.
Yep.
And his voice actor recently passed.
I'm going to leave it at that.
No, that looks cool. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about this before. I'm really curious to see what these primes will be remolded into.
Or maybe they won't. It seems like they should or will, but
what company are we talking about here?
Hey, every once in a while, something gets through.
Yeah, it seems like that isn't as much of a requirement as it used to be. Like when a toy does get remolded and repainted, it gets remolded and repainted. You get 17 side swipes, right? But it's not every figure anymore. There's a lot of things that are just like, what's it going to be? You know, what are they going to do with Soundwave other than make a sound blaster?
Yeah.
What are they going to do with Blaster other than make it twin casts, right? Like, they're not going as like weirdo as they used to, which is good.
Well, no, they just made a spaceship Soundwave.
It seems like that should all. I almost feel like that could. Don't call me crazy, but like it feels like that's closer to Commander than Leader. Just in the finite historical like patterns we have to go after. You know, I kind of feel like it's in between there. Like we're getting a deal with that toy as a Leader.
With this one, yeah, no. Sorry.
I think we've entered. I think we've been here for a little bit, but I think we've really entered the age of the bigger Transformers, the like Leaders and the Commanders being like where the fun is, where the excitement is. Because like back in the day, it was all about buying the deluxes, right? Like you just buy the deluxes. That's where like all the coolest figures were, all the cleverest things. You get a bunch of deluxes, you have fun with them. You get the occasional Leader, and you're like, okay, it's a big toy, whatever. But now it's like you get those Leaders and Commanders, and it's just like, oh, their hands move, and their transformations are just so unique and interesting. And I don't know, it's just they're really making that parts count into what gets me excited with toys anymore. I find myself being disappointed with deluxe after deluxe, but every time I sprain for one of the big guys, I'm way happier.
Well, I just think like some of the Leaders some of the bigger ones back in the day was just like, oh, now we have more room to put more gimmicks in and more like play features. And it, like you didn't get the best Transformer toy in the world. You got a toy that had, you know, a lot of, you know, stuff that, you know, appealed well to kids. Like if you look at like the Transformers Leader animated Megatron, like, you know, a lot of gimmicks like that were thrown into that toy. If you were to remake that toy now as a Leader scale, like that toy would feel much more, you know, I think a lot better than the original one did. So, yeah, I'm thinking about like Cybertron Shock Blast or Energon Shock Blast, and like his giant like arm that was like, you know, it's like, okay, concept's neat, but the execution is poor.
I wish they would redo that one.
Yeah.
In a modern sense without the sound chip. This used to be a Leader class toy.
Holy cow.
This thing is insane. Well, it's big and it was insane. Like in Japan, they released it as a masterpiece. And we just released it as a Leader.
I can believe it. I don't know. I feel like for the longest time too that Hasbro didn't know what to do with Leader class. Like they released all of these like shitty. It was almost like a shitty masterpiece version of like the main characters, like the Soundwave and Optimus and whatnot. Oh, Phil died.
Talking about Empower for the Primes.
Yeah, like Power of the
Primes.
Talking
about you act like it's happened a bunch. This is a very specific era that you're talking about.
The Titans Return, like Combiner Wars, Power of the Primes era, where like they did do some of the cool like six changers and things like that, but they also did just these, you know, things that you're just like, why do I want this?
I mean, they pivoted, you know, halfway before that was done. They're like, listen, we're starting over and we're going to do, they had like a 6-7 year plan, and which they have now executed.
Right. Well, and then like
I think it's
all the Leaders I feel like that we've gotten even since then have been glorified Voyagers, right? Other than the Dinobots. And so
That's a fair assessment.
And so, like, that's the thing is like just seeing this and you're like, oh, holy cow. And I think that part of the reason they could do that is the fact that they did release the Grimlock with it, right? So they already, like, had the mold cost for it and they just, repainted it for it.
Yeah,
so that
but
probably saved a bit.
They don't usually do 2 new leaders at the same time. It does happen. But typically there's like a repack or a redeco or a remold along with a new one. There are exceptions to this though, like Galaxy Shuttle and Overballs or whatever were both redecos.
Right.
One was just a straight up repack.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think Wave 1 a lot of times they might put, because it's Wave 1, right? So they may put a couple original molds, but that's probably the only time they do. And obviously this, like, I don't even remember what the case assortments are for, like, the later waves, but, I'm sure that he's going to get reissued down the line too. So I would definitely say that, if you see this, I'd, pick it up.
They said they weren't going to be doing that anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They basically, and I think I believe them, because especially with the way this, if you were at the beginning of the episode and you're still here, what are you doing with your life? But now you understand what I'm talking about. Like, there's going to be a further reduction from where we're at now.
Right.
And like product produced.
Which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've gotten a lot of product, over the last few years. That if product, and honestly, I feel like nowadays, I don't know about you, like, I feel like a lot of the product isn't on the shelf. I go to the store and I don't see the, at least collector stuff. I see more of the toy, the kids line stuff. But it's just so, like,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know.
Really. I tend to think that's probably a good thing, because if it's sitting there on the shelves, then it means it's sitting there online too.
Right.
So it means it's not selling. But I mean, yeah, the shelves have been pretty bare. Except for Walmart, that's like stocking their shelves with garbage now instead of actual toys.
Right.
I don't know. There's just we're in the midst of a very strange time, and I'd love to have that conversation about how does Transformers decouple from Hasbro,
Ooh.
Because I think we might be seeing, get your bingo cards out. We might be seeing one of them, one way that could happen in the very near future.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would have said that was going to happen before, but obviously now things are a lot different.
You make a point though, just with the amount of licensing Hasbro was willing to do. Going into the 40th anniversary type stuff, like, we really are seeing official Transformers happening outside of Hasbro, and that's just going to cause it to be more of a thing going forward. And
it makes the brand more valuable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, we've partnered with all these companies because the awareness is so high and blah blah. Makes it more valuable if someone wanted it.
Was idiotic pre-order oof of all recently, because I just, I collect Bumblebee toys, right? I love Bumblebee and the freaking Robosen. Like, I haven't done it, but I've seen it several times with the pre-order discount price.
Well, here's the thing. If imagine you pre-order that thing, and the tariffs kick in the day before it ships. That is not something you want to pay for 3 times.
No, then they're going to tariff you on the $1,500 value. not the 950 you got.
Whatever. Yeah, I just wouldn't.
It's just awful
I'm not
anyway.
getting it. I've gotten all the other ones. I want.
You know, all the other ones.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I've only opened the Optimus.
Kind of hated it, but
I still think they're cool, and I like that they're doing characters I collect. That's the thing that sucks for me.
With the Bumblebee, like the Grimlock too. Like when I saw the Grimlock, I was like, that is appealing to me because I love the G1 Grimlock toy and I love the Masterpiece Grimlock toy and Greg Berger's great and everything just all came together. It was still like funny on a freaking little walking dog. I pressed the button once and then I put back in the box.
Yeah, at least those can work without an app. You know,
Okay.
the app, I'd say the app is not crucial to the operation of the thing. If you want to get the higher level features out of it, yes, the app is required, but you can still do the cool stuff without it.
That's cool.
By just talking to it. So it's not like it doesn't brick just because the app is gone.
Yeah, I guess the app might go away at some point.
You know what? Maybe in the future, like in 20 years down the road, you can just like talk to your AI assistant and be like, hey, interface with this fucking robot. And you know, the app is gone. So you need to create a thing. And it goes, done.
I don't understand why they can't include like, and I know, you know, whatever, it is what it is, but it'd be nice if they could include a remote control type of thing with it. Like I know the Sphero droids.
So it just costs an extra $1,000 because you put an iPhone in there.
Right.
Thing.
I was gonna say the Sphero droids that I had, it you could buy like a little thing for your wrist, and then you could actually control it like using that instead of the app on your phone. So. But or I guess the other thing too is that you just get like a, you know, say that you just keep your old phone and make sure that it always just has that app on it, right?
Did we talk about the Supreme Optimus Prime?
Yep.
We did? Okay. I couldn't remember.
That happened. I was gonna ask, do we want to do another round? I'm tired.
Yeah, we've somehow talked enough about different stuff.
Daddy.
I don't know. Paul, do you have anything that you want to... I feel like you look like you have
Not
something.
really. I mean,
No?
if you want me to, but I don't, you know, I don't need to.
I was gonna say, man, you're the one with the good oofs.
Minor oops.
I might have shown. I don't know if I think I've shown this on the show. Shown this one. The ATB
nice.
Megatron. I think I've shown this.
Where did you get that from?
We've definitely talked about it. It's come up in discussion a few times. I got it. This was around 2014, 2013. Because the last BotCon was 2016, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that guy was at it, and I'd already bought it. So I probably bought it around 2014, like that. I could be wrong. But there was this guy on TFW. There was like a big thing about this guy like that was going to be opening a bunch of stuff he got from a toy collector that had passed away, and he's going to open up the bins like video. He was like going to document it. It seemed like a ton of work for whatever he was doing, and he ended up just forgetting it. That got scrapped, and then he just put a bunch of stuff up for sale on eBay. So there was a point where there was like 3 or 4 of these on eBay at the same time.
Oh, damn.
And this one was graded already. So I was like, yeah, I'll just take the one that's graded. That'd be great. So I did. And he also had some other, he had like tons of prototypes and stuff. He said he had a prototype of that. And I was like, how do we know? Because there's so many
Right.
versions of that thing. I'm sure he wanted like a lot more money than I was willing to pay at the time. So, and I still don't like. I don't even regret not buying that at all. Like I'm just like, yeah,
Right.
out of sight. But this I'm glad I got because I've been trying to get a hold of that for a few years, and it
Right. Well, I feel like now,
up.
I mean, I don't see it that often now at all. I mean, I don't know, not that I'm looking for it, but
they're just in private collections, and I don't think the people have any, they have no need to sell it. That's when someone needs to sell it, that's when shit hits the fan.
Right.
And I think we're gonna, I hope not, but like I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna need to sell their collections in the near future.
Yeah.
Which means there's gonna be a lot, like a big sell-off means like, you can get some cool stuff for what used to be a lot of money.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing too is obviously if other people are like, "Hey, now's not the time for me to be buying shit," too,
right.
then that depresses some of the prices too, so
yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So, bright and happy thought. Yay.
Yay. So, Anna, do you have anything else that you want to show off?
Well, I actually managed to fit everything else I had to show off into this hat. So, like, all my kids are very small.
Blockies.
Well, there's Blockies in there, there's Legends figures, and there's Doctor Wu figures, and I don't know. I just wanted to admit that I have been seduced into the stupid Blockies world that the rest of you have been. And I'm also going to show off my cool thing I got recently, which is this super cool crocheted mimic. Check it out. It's got teeth.
Wow.
Oh, that is pretty neat.
There is a blurry teeth.
Okay, now
it doesn't help if you blur out your screen, Anna.
Yeah. I just
whoa.
Blockies, right? Like these things are. Did not care about your regular Blockies, right? Like someone come up to me right now and offer me $2 to take this jazz off my desk because it's just been sitting here. You have it. But this thing, these are so fun, right? Like getting my little Megatron ready, my little Optimus car, being a little Action Master fun time. These are super cool. Like I'm into these little guys. They're little and they're dumb, and I'm gonna end up buying 4 freaking sets of them to build a stupid Devastator.
Yes.
I'm seduced.
I see nothing wrong with that.
I'm seduced by the Blockies.
I was gonna say, what's wrong with Devastator? Like, and buying a bunch of parts for Devastator, right? Like,
this Devastator is gonna be way cooler than that one. That Devastator is gonna be annoying.
Well, this is the
have all sorts of gaps and dumbnesses.
Hey, I told you that my stuff was gonna be more boring than yours, and there you go. So
what's happening now?
What is this Blocky you're showing off here?
What's your Blocky?
Why do you have an AFA graded? Why do you have a Blocky in a box?
This is just the Starscream portion of that thing I was showing earlier.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Got one.
I enjoy them. I haven't opened my Volume 2 set box, only the Volume 1 set box so far, but they're fun.
Let me know if you get Coronation Starscream. I can trade you.
You have to track down one for yourself.
I got 6 cases and they were all Bumblebee.
Oh.
I'll let you know. I'll probably open them tomorrow night during D&D because they're good. They're not. These do not have a satisfying put together, right? Like everybody always talks about how these are fun, satisfying little model kits, the regular Blockies. The Defenders, not so much, right? They're about as exciting as putting together a Lego minifigure a little bit more. You don't feel like you're building a model kit. You feel like you're quickly clicking together a toy. That's fine. They're fun. I will admit that there is a large amount of disappointment that comes to opening the vehicle mode ones, except for the Optimus. because it's just like, oh, I'm gonna open one of these for fun in the next 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, it's Thundercracker.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done, and it's stupid. Phew.
The vehicles suck.
The Optimus is cool because they made him a ride-on toy. That is neat. They made a little ride-on Optimus that you can grab onto the little eye and shoo shoo. And that's cool. Like, I love this part. But then the Bumblebee and the Thundercracker and the construction hunts are fine because they will go together. But the Bumblebee and the Thundercracker are like, why do I need these? You're the Bumblebee.
Well, there's plenty of Bumblebee in the second series.
Perfect. I'll get more Bumblebee. I've had like an idiot Bumblebee toy festival lately. Just I was at a freaking Dollar Tree and I impulse bought one of those little, I should have brought them up here, one of those little plushy beans. $1. Bumblebee. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. And then Christian told me they had the invertible plushie at Walmart. So I just put it in my Walmart grocery order one day and it came. Time I ever got a grocery order from Walmart that the person driving it to my house broken like a chimney in their car was the one time I bought a plushie. So it was like, damn it.
Oh, no.
The smoke flavored Bumble plushie. Wayne. But he aired out. It's okay. It wasn't enough to like need to go through the whole treatment process. Some of mine will be stupid Bumblebee toys. They're totally distracted. There were stupid Bumblebee toys in this set.
So, in the Super Gamer and Plus Show in the chat a few minutes ago had asked, what do we think was the best years for Transformers? Which I feel like we've talked about before, and I also feel like you could almost do an entire show on it. But real quick, does anything come to mind for you? I'm thinking 2007 is like, if you're just talking just in general, like that just pops in my head just because that was the first movie and just the sheer volume of toys that were coming out at that time. I think wasn't animated around that time. Transformers was animated also, so it's just like
things changed after 2007. That's for sure.
Right.
Like that was an important year for me for so many reasons. Like in every facet of my life, it was a crazy time. But it's like that would be my default without thinking about it too hard. But I know like. Many times successively over the years since 2007, I've been like, this is the best year of Transformers ever. Like, right. I have definitely, other ways I've said it is like, this is the golden age. It's never been this good. And then maybe there's like, I like don't notice the lulls, but they happen. But then it's like, they keep it for me, it keeps going up. Like,
it does.
There's an upward trend, even though there's like a downward trend in like the generalist standpoint. You want those to kind of go together, but it's just not. It's like the fans are getting good stuff, but it might not last because the general popularity of the brand needs to fund that cool stuff perpetually, not just like because of a movie.
Right.
But maybe I don't know when the that Bumblebee trailer, the movie for that or the trailer, I watched it. Man, I think that almost made me cry the first time I saw that. It was so good. It was so good, and it was like this weight had been taken off my shoulders for how, at least it felt like it might be that way, because like this is I think they get it now,
Right.
Just go back and watch that trailer sometime. It's really really good, and I remember that sent me on a pretty good high for like that year. So that was what, 2015?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, yeah, that was, like we just talked about when the Siege stuff, War for Cybertron stuff started. That was that was great. We're going to finally be on Netflix and not like Tubi Luby or whatever previous shows were on that no one saw.
I we all get together to watch Siege together late at night?
We watched Earthrise.
Did we watch Earthrise on Siege?
We watched the second one. Although we might have watched the first one leading up to.
Yeah, we did. We did watch it leading up to, and then we were all so tired by the time we got to Earthrise, but it was also bad, so that did not help.
I just remember being excited about Scrapface.
Yes, you got very excited about Scrapface, and you were right. Scrapface became a very valuable figure for a minute.
Well, the other thing too is like in 2015 is probably around the height of the IDW comics, right? If I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't necessarily have the same cultural impact of like broad, like everyone, but at the same time, I think for super fans, like for the people that are really into the brand, I think, it was nice having a critically acclaimed comic book. And I guess the new one has been acclaimed too, but
I mean, when the DJD had the Autobots surrounded on the planet, that was like the most intense 6 months of my life, wondering what was going to happen
right.
on the Necrobots planet. Like,
oh man,
it still like gives me chills when I think about Drift and Ratchet showing up at the end of that page. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. You're right. That was a high point for sure.
Yep.
There's been a lot, so it's a tough question. Like everyone can answer that.
No, it is. That's what I'm saying. I think honestly, I feel like it's something we could do a whole show on. It could take some research, to try to figure it out. So, but Phil was gonna stop back in, and give another oof, but apparently his tablet died or whatever, and he can't get it going again. So I think we're just gonna have to end it, and he's gonna have to do his oof next time. So, sorry, Phil.
So you didn't really talk about your Constructicons at all. You held them up. I made fun of you, and then you didn't talk about them. Do you like them?
Sure. I mean, I feel like until I get the next dudes, the commander class, right? Like that's where it's really going to start coming together. But they're good. Like they're very solid. Figures so far. I don't know. It's been so long since I've even messed with my Combiner Wars figures. Like I combined him into combine mode however many umpteen years ago, and he has never moved since then. So
that's the problem with that Devastator with the Combiner Wars one. Like that is its mode, right? Like the vehicle modes are fine, but the robot modes are just like robot modes. And you're probably not even going to put them on the shelf in those robot modes. You're going to look at it and be like, okay, it transforms. This is a robot. Maybe I'll make it a truck again. Like it's just not much of an appeal to put it on the shelf that way.
You remember that was back in the day when Japan had free reign to do what they wanted.
Yeah, they were like, let's make some elbows and stuff and guns.
That was a serious thing, and that's why Phil mentioned the Black Screw Triptychon. That toy was the moment that it was like, no, we're doing the same shit.
It was.
Yeah.
It was that Titan.
The Devastator was jealousy. Right? Looking at Japan getting, it was like they get elbows. We didn't get elbows.
Well, that was like a step beyond just like painting it nicer. It was like, no, we're gonna spend the extra money.
Right.
Because it's worth it to us.
Well, and one thing I kind of feel like with Devastator, I mean, he's an important character and all that, but like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of it. Has there been a Devastator third party or official where you're like, man, I'm really happy with this. Like I just really love the look and transforming it and like all that type of thing, right? Like, I don't think that exists.
G1.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Make Toys Giant was pretty darn good. Like, the robot modes again look kind of goofy on that, but that was a pretty decently fun, solid figure. But yeah, like the Toy World Devastator, right? Like, looks absolutely amazing, but gosh darn, like, just I got that thing into combine mode when I had it, and then I was just like, nope, but it's never leaving combine mode until I sold it. So,
Yeah,
but like,
things
this
look
is
cool.
actually fun. Like, I mean, these transform exactly how you would expect them to, and it's actually solid. Like, each mode, like, they put a lot of different like tabs and stuff so that it, like, each mode seems pretty solid so far. I mean, obviously I only have 2 of the 6 so far, but at least it's on a good trend. And that's the thing that I kind of feel like with all these combiners, where it's kind of going back and forth with, like, do I really need to upgrade from Combiner Wars? But they're so much more solid than, and I know they're going to be, compared to Combiner Wars, where it's like Combiner Wars is like, they look good on the shelf, you know, but they're just not fun to mess with and pose and stuff. So, I don't know.
Looking forward to the Devastator from these guys, from Dr. Wu.
Oh, there
Dr.
you
Wu
go.
Devastator is going to be an interesting creature. Not only is it going to be teeny tiny and Devastator, it's also Cybertronian. That's an odd thing. They released some pictures of what it's going to look like finally, and it's unique. It'll look unique. I think it'll be pretty fun. I'm actually looking forward to that and both the blocky one too. So I'm just glad I get to have some fun with Devastator too, because I'm going to be jealous of all your Devastators,
Right.
even though I'm going to watch you. I'll watch you all put it together and be like, I actually don't like that, because I don't like what I've seen in pictures. I don't like what I've seen in previews. I'm going to see that I don't like it. I'm going to be like, I wish I had it. I want a new Devastator. Think that getting the Dr. Wu and the Blockies ones, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm an adult. I can realize I don't want that thing. But if they do it in orange, I will end up getting it. Right?
Oh.
It doesn't matter what Devastator gets done in orange. I'll get it. It could be like that freaking MBK super bootleg one. Like, put that thing in an orange and I'll go ahead and grab that. Sure. I've heard it's terrible.
What about a tuxedo?
How about an orange tuxedo? That would really get me.
Little Dumb and Dumber action.
Right.
So that movie, I've never seen it.
Oh, you should. You need to watch it.
I just found out that there's a Happy Gilmore 2 coming out. So.
Oh,
no way!
Won't be as good.
How are you the one to tell me that? That is insane. I did not know. I
watched the trailer with the spouse earlier tonight, because it was like, here's Happy Gilmore 2 and something else I didn't think needed a 2. I forgot what the other 2 was. There was another 2 on the list. Like, why is there a 2? But
yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess since Phil's, stuff died or whatever, I know Zaldron says he should show it on Discord, so maybe he will. I don't know. Is Phil on Discord?
Sort of.
Sometimes.
Okay.
He shows up, says one thing, like most of y'all do.
Hey, I have been more active recently.
Recently, you have been.
Thank you
See,
very much.
Starscreams. Paul's got a Starscream. I got a Starscream. Where's your Starscream?
There. Now it's not reflected away. I'm a ghost.
You can see.
I don't think I have a Starscream that's handy. Oh, here we go. I got Starscream that's handy. How about this? Here we go.
Perfect.
It's not G1.
Oh, Starscream.
It's Starscream.
Nice.
So. All right. Well, with that, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you to... Oh, that's... There you go. Look at you. Thank you to everyone in the chat. So we got Enots and Zaldron was in there, and then the Super Gamer and Plus show. Thaddeus earlier, Talib was in there as well. So
sad.
But yep. Phil really appreciated that.
I didn't really talk about it, but Dairy Con was awesome. Everyone that didn't go missed out.
I'm sorry. Never works out for me, man.
The greatest show on
just
earth.
the time of year that they have it just does not work for me.
That's probably why they have it then, so you can't
literally
go.
the same weekend as my psych conference that I go to every year.
So
that means you're pretty close. You could just hop, skip, and jump. It's only one day.
I did think about it. Just skip the last day of the psych conference, go to Dairy Con.
You wouldn't regret it.
I know I wouldn't.
Someone sold a Unicron there, $1,300.
That's a good deal, right? At this point.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it was sealed. Like I didn't. If I had known it was there, I would have bought it. I'm busy. At the show. There's lots. It's just you just got to go. Like I can't explain it. You just have to walk around and be like, you'll just be in awe. Amazing highs, low lows, constantly. It's a great
nothing
show
in the middle.
Oh, there's plenty in the middle. It's mostly me. So there's lots of other cool stuff.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see everyone next week, hopefully.
All right.